What if I told you that free lunch wasn't cool and didn't benefit students? That's what some people might have said 10 years ago. Today, though, times have changed. We have stories of people personally affected by the NSLP. Before we show you the great things about the NSLP, first we must show you the roots and how the NSLP became what it is today. The Richard B. Russell National School Lunch Act created the NSLP 65 years ago by President Harry S. Truman. The program was established as a way to prop up food prices by absorbing farm surpluses, while at the same time providing food to school-aged children who otherwise wouldn't be able to afford the food. It was signed into law in 1946 and named after Richard Russell Jr. In 2010, schools served lunches to 31.7 million students. Two-thirds of these lunches were served at a free or reduced price.
I have been in the field for 20 years, different schools, 15 here, and I am the food service director, cafeteria manager. But when I was in school, I'd say 100 years ago, there was a little bit of a stigma. If you knew someone was on a free lunch, there was a little bit of talking and you wondered,
These were some of the problems that plagued the NSLP in its early days. Due to improvements to the NSLP, today things have changed. Out of 89 students we surveyed, 43% said the NSLP had a positive effect on the students in the program, and 43% had no opinion. We also asked if they thought students who were in the NSLP were viewed differently than a student who wasn't. 51% said the students were treated no differently, and 47% had no opinion.
Once you scan your name, if you're free, comes up, and we know that, so we don't have to ask. So nobody knows who's a free, who's a reduced, who's a paying student, really. Students now are much more acceptable, and because of the economy, there's so many more students. I think we have 100 students on free and reduced. Well, maybe even more, like 150. So there's so many on that, and there's not a stigma. I mean, students will actually say, "I'm free, I'm reduced." They're not embarrassed. Where when I went to school, you whispered it, and you didn't want people to know. And no, I'm not finding that and that's a good thing.
A few years ago, my mom was working for a big company, and they got bought out by another company, and they had to downsize, and my mom was cut. So she went from having like this really nice job with these really nice benefits to not having a job at all. And my dad, well, he's like a diabetic and stuff, so he got really sick, and his heart was only working at 5%, and then he had to have a defibrillator put in, and then so he wasn't able to work. Then we applied for the free and reduced lunch, and we got ours down to free. It helped out a lot because we were still trying to pay bills around the house, still trying to pay for my dad. So saving that little bit of money was a big help. I get treated just like everybody else does.
The NSLP is a very positive force. It continues to help millions of students get the needed food and nutrition that helps them focus and maintain healthy lifestyles that otherwise wouldn't be possible without the NSLP.